Welcome to Comedy MX's Cartoon Classics channel. Binge out on the animated Superman, Popeye, Bugs Bunny and Friends, Technicolor classic tunes, animators UB Iwerks and Max Fleischer, Mickey Mouse, Betty Boop, and all your cartoon favorites. Animate your everyday at Cartoon Classics channel. So return with us now to those golden days of yesteryear.
Blast off for another exciting adventure in outer space with Scott McCloud, Space Angel, in the story of The Visitor from Outer Space.
Of all the many dangers involved in space navigation, one of the worst is uncharted asteroids. These deadly missiles from outer space can destroy even the largest cargo ship. Therefore, it is of the utmost importance that they be charted upon the space charts of the solar system. It's Eros, all right. 5 miles thick and nearly 15 miles long. Its true course has never been plotted.
Didn't it nearly collide with her once, Professor?
Came dangerously close once. That was in 1931. It seems to be on a new orbit now.
Don't all asteroids follow a fixed orbit?
Not Eros. No one has been able to chart her accurately. It's almost as though she has a mind of her own. Don't most women? I have a theory about the erratic behavior of Eros.
What's that, Professor?
If I'm not mistaken, that asteroid has a small gravity field. This could account for her change in course. Makes sense, Skipper.
Why, yes. If Eros passed a planet like Earth in her orbit, she'd be slightly attracted.
She seems to have a life all her own. And amazingly enough, Eros is growing. And that I don't understand. Scott, based on this information, how about going out and charting her new course?
We should be able to intercept it in the area of the Van Allen belt. We'll blast off immediately.
Clear the tube for blast off.
Strapped in, gang?
Go here.
Aye, Skipper.
Launch control. We're ready for countdown.
Roger, Starduster. Control ready and counting.
Reactors, go.
Umbilical, go.
Cabin pressure, go.
Tube doors opening.
Angle of blast 230, vector 4.
Correcting angle.
Trajectory, go.
AB temperature, go.
Increasing power. How's the angle, Chris?
Trajectory perfect. Acceleration 15 units.
Okay, kids. Man your stations and let's see if we can find that frisky asteroid.
Scott, the Evening Star is trying to contact us on channel 37.
Right, Chris. Starduster here. What's up, Professor Mace?
Scott, there are heavy sunspot eruptions taking place. That means increased radiation in the Van Allen belts. Watch the radiation count closely. You may have to change your point of rendezvous with Eros.
Don't see how we can, Professor. If your theory is right, Eros will change course when it reaches the Van Allen belt. We'll have to pick it up on the other side or take the chance of missing completely.
Well, don't risk your life going through that belt. If the radiation gets too hot, turn back.
Okay, Professor, we'll be careful. Starduster out.
Evening Star out. We're approaching the outer belt now, Skipper.
Chris, how much radiation?
4.4. Not much higher than usual.
We'll be through it before we can do any harm.
What's the danger point, Skipper?
10 even. If we're exposed too long. Give us a rating, Chris.
9.3 and rising. 9.4. 9.5.
How about it, Skipper?
Brace yourselves, kids. We're blasting out of here.
Scott, the radiation is still on the increase. It's 9.9.
Something's wrong.
Cosmic disturbance dead ahead, Skipper.
10 and still rising, Scott.
The Starduster is being exposed to extremely dangerous radioactivity. What will happen to Scott and his friends? Don't miss the next exciting episode of Space Angel. Blast off for another exciting adventure in outer space with Scott McCloud, Space Angel, in the story of The Visitor from Outer Space. Last time, Scott, Taurus, and Crystal blasted off, heading for the asteroid Eros in order to chart its course. As they flew through the Van Allen radiation belt, the Starduster was exposed to extremely dangerous radioactivity.
Give us a radiation reading, Chris.
11.3 and still rising.
We can't ride through this much longer.
There's our call signal. Must be Professor Mace. Starduster here. Come in, Professor.
What's wrong out there, Scott? My tracking instruments record high radiation.
They read right. Our radiation reading is over maximum safety limits.
What is your reading at the moment?
Reading, Chris.
12 even. Still going up.
That's bad business, Scott. Don't take any chances. Get into the radiation chamber and ride this out. The sunspots must have created a solar storm. Those are solar flare particles we're dealing with.
Roger, Professor. Out here. I'm setting the Starduster on automatic. Everybody into the radiation chamber.
How about Eros, Skipper? Aren't we getting close?
Can't worry about that. We've already been dangerously exposed to radiation.
Well, come on, slowpokes. You're just asking for trouble. We're safe here. Radiation factor reads negative.
Hard to believe she's sizzling outside.
All we've got to worry about is the possibility of meeting Eros head-on.
We'll never know it, Skipper. Not in here.
Now, that's a nice, cheery little thought.
Our velocity was 1,000 space units. At that rate of speed, we should be able to pass through this stuff in another 5 units.
With Eros closing on us, that's a mighty long time, Skipper.
Right. The ARI will tell us when it's safe to leave this chamber.
What's the matter, lass? You look all in.
I don't know what's the matter. Oh, I feel so drowsy.
Oh, that's a woman for you, Skipper. Right in the middle of... They fall asleep. Who must be catching?
There's something wrong here. It's beginning to affect me. Great Scott. The oxygen. Can't be right. Oxygen is normal. But something's definitely wrong. I must stay awake.
Evening star to Starduster. Evening star to Starduster. Come in, Scott. Come in, Scott. They're in the radiation chamber, but surely Scott would switch on the auxiliary speaker in there. Evening star to Starduster. Come in, Scott. Come in, Scott. Scott, Crystal. Crystal, are you all right? What's happened?
Oxygen okay, but I just can't figure this out. Why we can't breathe. Our CO2 converter system. The circulator's out. Warning lamp failed us. We're breathing our own exhale. We could have suffocated.
Skipper, what happened?
We were asleep. Hold it, Scott. Listen.
Our converter fan was off. In free fall, our breath just hung around us. It had no place to go.
Evening star calling Starduster. Scott, Crystal, come in, please. Calling Scott McCloud. Come in, please. This is Professor Mace.
Professor Mace, sorry for the delay. Had a little trouble here. Okay now.
Scott, I can't locate Eros. Terrible interference.
Was she still on course when you lost contact?
Yes, but that was some time ago.
You better work fast. We're approaching rendezvous. Taurus, check environment.
Aye, Skipper. Outside radiation approaching normal, Skipper.
Good. Let's get back to our stations. Now remember, Taurus, we just want to find Eros. We don't want to hit it.
I got you, Skipper, but I can't see anything out there anywhere but space.
Has Eros changed course again? If so, where is it headed this time? Don't miss the next exciting episode of Space Angel. Blast off for another exciting adventure in outer space with Scott McCloud, Space Angel, in the story of The Visitor from Outer Space. Last time, Scott, Taurus, and Crystal, on their way to chart the course of the asteroid Eros, were exposed to extremely dangerous radiation. While they were in the deradiation chamber of the Starduster, Professor Mace reported that he had lost radar contact with the asteroid.
Still not a thing, Skipper.
Chris,
Negative. I've scanned the whole sector and she's simply not around.
I can't understand it. Eros has to be somewhere in the vicinity of Earth.
That asteroid is awfully fickle, Skipper. Maybe she decided to visit Mars instead.
Hold it, Taurus. Here's Professor Mace. Come in, Professor.
I've picked her up, Scott. Eros is in orbit around the moon. When she hit that cosmic storm, she must have been deflected on a tangent.
No wonder we couldn't find her.
The Earth was blocking our scanner.
Circling the moon, eh? See, Skipper, I told you she was fickle. Eros is in a tight elliptical orbit and very unstable. She's a real menace to space traffic in that area, Scott.
We'll get right over there, Professor. Out here.
Moon dead ahead, Skipper. Now coming into view. No Eros, though.
Probably around the back. There she comes now. The professor wasn't kidding. That asteroid is in a tight orbit.
Now that's the darndest thing I've ever seen, Skipper. Her orbital pattern changes each time around. What do you think, lad?
One thing for sure, Taurus. It's blocking every approach to the moon.
A pilot would be out of his mind if he tried to land on it.
Know what I think, Skipper? Charting that crazy asteroid is a waste of time.
You're right. Chris, get me Professor Mace.
Yes, Scott, right away.
That's right, Professor. Eros cannot be charted.
Then we really have no choice, Scott. We've got to get rid of her.
I read you, Professor. Out here. Have you heard the Professor? We're going to have to get rid of Eros.
Good idea, Skipper. But first, we've got to catch her.
Then hang on, gang. The fireworks are about to start. What's our range, Chris?
300 astro leagues, Scott.
And closing in fast, Skipper. There goes Eros. She's holding pretty steady now.
Stand by. I'm going to try to match her course and speed.
Eros, dead ahead, Skipper.
Skipper, look out! Eros is erupting.
Volcanic blasts. Hang on. Emergency. Full speed. All engines. Where's Eros?
She is headed for the moon.
Don't stop!
Hang on. Eros has a new course.
Good heavens, she's headed towards Earth.
Oh, no. We've got to stop it.
A wild asteroid plunging through space. Can Scott prevent Eros from colliding with Earth? Don't miss the next exciting episode of Space Angel. Blast off for another exciting adventure in outer space with Scott McCloud, Space Angel, in the story of The Visitor from Outer Space. Last time, Scott, Taurus, and Crystal had located the erratic asteroid in orbit around the moon. It was decided that Eros could not be charted and was a real menace to space traffic, so it must be destroyed. As they closed in on the asteroid, Eros erupted and, changing course, headed straight for Earth.
We're gaining on that wild asteroid.
Uh-oh. There go those blasted jets again, Skipper.
She's changing course, Scott. Almost 45 degrees.
Chris, get me Professor Mace. That asteroid's now gone completely wild.
Right, Scott. Starduster calling the Evening Star.
That's it, Professor. No telling what Eros will do next. We've got a volcanic asteroid on our hands.
That's very serious, Scott. Those blasts coming from Eros could force her into one of the planets, maybe hit a city.
Scott, Eros is changing course again. Good golly. She's going into Vector 6, headed directly for the Evening Star.
Professor Mace, Eros is now heading for the Evening Star.
I know, Scott. My radar scope's warning system is at work. She's getting awfully close, son.
No! Eros must have struck the Evening Star. Dad! Oh, Dad!
Professor Mace, are you all right? Come in, please. Are you all right, Professor? Come in. Good grief, there she is. Look at that.
What a mess.
Dad has to be okay. He has to be.
Hold it. I think this is the Professor. He's coming in on audio.
Hello, Starduster. This is Evening Star.
He's on the emergency frequency.
This is Professor Mace. Come in, Scott.
It's Dad. Oh, thank heavens.
Go ahead, Professor.
I'm okay. Eros just brushed us. The Evening Star was shaken up a bit. Oh, we'll be okay, Scott. We're repairing the damage now. You get that asteroid before she does any more damage.
Will do, Professor. Out here.
She's lined up, Skipper.
Stand by to drop thermal package. Chris, open hatch.
Right, Scott. Hatch open.
She's down, lad.
I'll make this as quick as possible. As soon as I activate that firecracker, I'll get out for Eros. We'll rendezvous as planned.
Be careful, Scott.
Watch out for that asteroid, Skipper. She's tricky.
Stand by to launch space dock. baggage. About to arm bomb.
Hurry, Skipper. That asteroid can change course at any time.
There. She's activated. Taurus, I'm ready to head back. Stand by them.
She's beginning to erupt again, Skipper. Get off! Get off!
Stupid. Space Dart's gone.
He's stranded, Chris. Scott can't get off Eros.
Oh, no. Scott trapped on a volcanic asteroid. Can he be rescued before the thermo bomb explodes? Don't miss the next exciting episode of Space Angel. Blast off for another exciting adventure in outer space with Scott McCloud, Space Angel, in the story of The Visitor from Outer Space. Last time, you remember the decision was made to destroy the wild asteroid Eros. Scott landed in a space dart and activated the thermal bomb. Just at that moment, Eros erupted and the space dart was demolished, leaving Scott stranded.
Skipper, are you okay? Come in, lad.
All right for the moment, Taurus. Things are getting rough.
Stand by, lad. We're coming for you.
No, you old bull. No sense all of us getting it. Stay out of here. That's an order.
Skipper, this is one time I'm glad to disobey an order. Now, if we don't make it in time, you can court-martial me. Lower the bosun's chair, Chris.
Right, Taurus. Chair down, Taurus.
Good girl, Chris. The skipper's climbing in. Now, if we can get him aboard before that bomb goes off.
Okay, here, Taurus. Go ahead.
Gotcha, Skipper. Hang on. Easy does it, Chris.
Scott's lost in space.
Quick! Get him on the radar scope. Pinpoint his position.
Radar scope activated. It's no use, Taurus. I'm picking up debris from Eros. I can't tell which blip is Scott.
Hang on, girl. I'm going after him.
Calling the Starduster. Get in, please. It's no use. My transmitter's out.
That's about it, Professor. Scott's adrift somewhere out there. Taurus, I think we can get a fix on Scott through triangulation. Use his environment indicator and set your course. I'll do the same from here. Chris, stand by to chart his position.
Right, Dad. Start anytime. I found him, Taurus.
We found him, Professor. Contact later and thanks. Out here. Stand by retros, Chris. I've spotted the skipper on the viewer. He's indicating his transmitter's out, Chris. Prepare to pick him up. Stand by, the skipper's A-OK.
There's Eros now. Heading right for the sun.
She's gone, Scott.
what she could have done to space navigation.
A real temperamental little gal, Skipper.
A devil of a gal, if you ask me.
Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't we take a short cruise around the planet Cambria?
Now, if that isn't a silly idea, it would take us weeks.
Any particular reason, you old bull?
Well, after that collision Eros had with the Evening Star, there's an awful lot of work waiting for us when we get back. I was kind of hoping we'd miss it.
And so ends the story of The Visitor from Outer Space. Don't miss the next exciting adventure with Scott McCloud, Space Angel.
Once upon a time in a faraway galaxy, bad men and women took control, and the good citizens packed their belongings into a sunlight-driven space frigate and formed a pioneer train, heading for faraway places in a good and new life, on an unspoiled planet they hoped to call their own. The journey continued month after month through the endless vastness of outer space, as one planet after another was discarded as unsuitable for the peaceful life they'd planned. And so they eventually arrived in the vicinity of Earth. Meanwhile, on the moon, where he had established a life as a happy hermit, Crater Eddie discovered a strange signal on his homemade scope.
I'll be hornswoggled. Hello there, Evening Star. This is your old pal, Crater Eddie. Come in, Evening Star. Scott, Taurus, Crystal. Hey, is anybody home?
Come in, Crater Eddie. We're all here. Scott. Scott. Scott, come here.
What is it, Crystal?
I got a bunch of guys on my screen. Come chasing around in space. Looks like they're headed this way.
What do you mean, a bunch of guys?
Crazy critters, moving in a line like a bunch of geese.
Like an old-fashioned wagon train, perhaps? You sure you're not nipping on that space juice again, Eddie?
You watch your tongue, Taurus. I know what I see.
Long ago, there was trouble in the 24th galaxy.
We picked up signals that a train of spacecraft took off, apparently to find a new home.
They traveled always in a straight line, but then we lost them. You sure it isn't just a short circuit in that jerry-built rig of Eddie's?
I tell you, I see them. They're coming.
What frequency are you watching?
Oh, I don't know nothing from frequencies. I watch whatever comes on the screen.
If it's what I think it is, it might be worth investigating. How about you three taking a run up there to see for yourselves?
And so, while the Space Angel and his crew went off to visit old Crater Eddie, the train of space frigates continued on its faraway course toward new horizons, ever hopeful of finding a home of their dreams, an uninhabited planet or moon on which to continue the simple life which was part of their heritage and tradition.
I'll show that, Taurus. I'll show them all. Hey, Eddie, you in there? Took you long enough. There, Taurus. Now say I got spots in front of my eyes.
Eddie, I think you've got something there.
Tune in again next time for another exciting episode with Scott McCloud, Space Angel. Last time, Crater Eddie discovered a strange wagon train formation in space, moving steadily toward Earth. Though Scott, Taurus, and Crystal are skeptical at first, they have to admit that Eddie is right.
Looks as if they're coming your way, Eddie.
Seem to be harmless critters. Harmless or not, I don't want them here. This is my moon.
Now, Eddie, don't be unsociable.
If I wanted company, I'd have stayed on that Earth of yours.
Maybe we better go out and investigate. We don't really want an unidentified caravan entering our sphere.
Peacefully, the train of space frigates continues on its way, unaware that they have been observed. But others, too, have learned of their presence. Afraid of armed invasion, they race to attack. Aware of imminent danger, the frigates move into defensive position.
Hey, gang, look at this.
What in heaven's name is it, Scott? Looks like a fireworks pinwheel.
Reminds me of Indians attacking a wagon train in the Old West.
Don't be silly.
Taurus, you may have hit the nail on the head. They're being attacked. That's what's happening.
Well, let's get up there. They need help. The cavalry to the rescue, eh, Skipper? Pour on the coals.
Hey, Skipper, the blighters are turning tails. Boy, they're taking off for the hills like a bunch of scared rabbits.
Let's try to make contact with our wagon train. Find out what this is all about.
Well, I've been trying every frequency, but I'm getting nowhere.
Firing retros, Taurus. And stand by. I'm going out and talk to them.
Roger, Skipper. Watch your step.
They look harmless enough.
I've heard that before.
Take care of the store while I'm gone, Torres.
Aye, Skipper.
I'm tuned to 122.9er, Scott. Keep your mic open just in case, and be careful.
Will do, Crystal.
How will Scott be received? Tune in again next time for another exciting episode with Scott McCloud, Space Angel. Last time, Scott, Crystal, and Torres took off in the Starduster to check on the approaching craft. They arrived just in time to help fight off an attack by the enemy. Having successfully repelled the intruders, Scott decides to go and talk to the occupants of the strange craft.
Maybe we should have gone along, just in case.
The skipper knows what he's doing.
He's alone. Let him in. Welcome, stranger. You come in peace, I presume?
To offer any help we may be able to give. I'm Scott McCloud, from Earth.
Oh, yes. You are well known. We are settlers in search of a home. Where we came from, sinful behavior, savage music, and delinquency threatened our families. So we took our wives and children and set out toward a new frontier. We wish to thank you for frightening the attackers away.
I told you, settlers and Indians.
Shh. A pleasure. Did you know who they were and why they attacked?
Well, I'm afraid not. But wherever there are peaceful men, there is evil bent on destroying them.
May I offer you our protection for the rest of your journey?
A pretty wise old goat.
Where are you headed?
The Earth's moon. We have been told that it is quiet and deserted.
It is that. Only one old hermit makes his home there. I'm sure he'll welcome you.
Bite your tongue, Skipper. You know the old reprobate will scream his head off.
We will try not to disturb your friend.
We better contact Eddie and tell him that he'll have company.
We'll stand by just in case the attackers decide to return.
Blast this thing, now I lost him. Hey, Scott, Torres, Stardust, and Crystal, come in. This is Eddie. That blasted flubber tube is acting up. There they are. That's funny. How'd they get over there?
Eddie, this is Scott calling you. Eddie, come in.
Scott, where you been? I've been calling you.
Eddie, roll out that frayed old red carpet you got stashed. I'm bringing you some very nice guests.
Scott, hey, Scott.
They're good people, looking for a quiet place to settle.
Scott,
Relax now, old fella. You'll like them.
Dang it, Scott. Look to your left. 10 o'clock low. You're the one that's got visitors, and they don't look like friendly critters to me.
Roger, Eddie. Thanks. Got them in sight. Stand by.
Will Scott be able to fight off the attackers? Tune in again next time for another exciting episode with Scott McCloud, Space Angel. Scott, visiting the occupants of the strange craft, found them to be friendly people in search of a new and peaceful planet on which to settle. When Scott calls Crater Eddie to tell him that they are headed for his moon, Eddie warns that another attack is about to take place.
Look out. Here we come.
Let's give it to them.
Take it, Taurus.
1, 2, 3. Howie, right in the kisser. They're breaking up, Skipper.
Ouch! Taurus finally learned how to shoot. Oh, here they come. Ding dang that Scott. Hey, Scott. Hey, Scott.
That sounds like Crater Eddie trying to get through.
Crystal, see if you can squelch that static.
Scott, blast you. Go take those guys someplace else. This is my moon. I got squatters' rights.
I have no right to stop them, Eddie. They want quiet, and that's what you've got. Might as well relax and put out the welcome mat.
In a pig's ear, I'll relax.
There they come. I better hurry up and prepare my special welcome for them. I'll give them peace and quiet. Welcome to Eddie's Quiet Moon. Eddie's Quiet Moon.
So while Scott and the train of space frigates prepared to land, Eddie was feverishly preparing his mysterious welcome for the unwanted visitors. To find out the surprise he has prepared for them, tune in again next time for another exciting episode with Scott McCloud, Space Angel. Warned just in time by Crater Eddie, Scott helped the pioneers to fight off another attack. Then, under his protection, they head toward the moon, where Crater Eddie has prepared a less than hearty welcome.
Hi, Eddie. Stop your hiding. I see you. Come on over. Come on now. I want you to meet your new neighbor. Cousin Jonathan.
How do you do, Cousin Eddie?
Cousin, how do you do?
Scott, come in, Scott. Better get back, Scott. They want us at Earth Control.
Roger, Torres. Okay, Eddie. You show Cousin Jonathan around. I'll stop by soon to see how you're getting along.
Well, all right, Scott, if you say so. I'll move over, Cousin Jonathan. All right, cousin. I'll show you around. If you get this thing to move...
Quite right, Cousin Eddie. It looks wonderfully peaceful. This is perfect for Cousin Obadiah's community hall.
Cousin Obadiah?
Yes, he's in charge of the meetings of the cousins.
What's that?
What's what?
Oh, that terrible music.
What music? I don't hear any music.
Oh, that noise! It's horrible!
What noise? I don't hear any noise. All the time we have soothing melody.
I've got to get away. Show me the way back, Cousin Eddie. Please, hurry.
But I don't understand, cousin.
We can't stay here. The only place left to explore are the moons of Saturn.
But they're deadly quiet. You wouldn't want to go there.
It would be heaven.
I bid you a hasty farewell, Cousin Eddie.
Well, if that's the way you feel about it, cousin. So long, cousins. I'll miss you. Uh-oh. There we go again. Well, Scott, long time
have no say.
Why, Eddie, what happened to the cousins?
They went that way.
Tune in again next time for another exciting adventure with Scott McCloud, Space Angel. Blast off for another exciting adventure in outer space with Scott McCloud, Space Angel, in the story of The Slave World. As you know, every 30 years, these two planets orbit through our galaxy. And for a couple of months, we get a fairly good look at them.
I remember them, Chief. They move in a contrary orbit to the rest of our planets.
Exactly. And since the development of this new telescope, we've had a chance to get a closer picture of these babies. There's every reason to believe that both of these planets are in...
What strange-looking stars.
Not stars, Crystal. Spacecraft. Like saucers.
Saucers like we used to see from Earth?
Yes, and they undoubtedly came from this smaller planet. Scott, I want you to go there, and if you find intelligent beings, invite them to join the Interplanetary Council.
We'll take off immediately.
Oh, darn, there goes my hair appointment.
Maybe they have beauty parlors out there, Crystal.
Oh, Taurus.
Planet's dead ahead, Skipper.
Oxygen indicator positive. They have an atmosphere.
Reverse G seats. Stand by for entry.
Scott, the little planet has a volume equal to Earth's moon.
Radiation is high, but safe.
Firing retro rocket. Reversing ship for landing. Not a sign of life.
What did you expect, a welcoming committee?
Sure is quiet out there. We better take our blasters, Skipper, just in case.
Let's go down and take a look around.
It sure doesn't look inhabited to me.
Scott, look! A flying saucer.
Say the word, lad, now.
Hold your fire, Taurus. We come as friends from the outer galaxy.
Welcome to Utopia. We were expecting you. I am known as Ito. We are to take you to Sesam, our ruler.
Thank you. We're anxious to meet with him.
They look just like we do.
Come. We will take you on our surface craft.
How far is it to your city?
It is not far. Soon we will go underground and transfer to the tube.
What is the tube, Ito?
The tube is our underground transportation. All of our cities are underground. We have arrived. This is our Capitol building. Sesam awaits you.
And so, on behalf of the Interplanetary Council, we're pleased to invite your planet as a full member, to be governed by its laws and share in its benefits.
If only we could, Commander. Unfortunately, we have no control of our affairs. Utopia
is a slave state.
Slave state? In this day and age?
Well, we'll fix that. No, my friends, it cannot be fixed. Our very existence is controlled by Spartania. What great power does Spartania have over the planet Utopia to keep it a slave planet? And how will Scott be able to help? Don't miss the next exciting episode of Space Angel. Blast off for another exciting adventure in outer space with Scott McCloud, Space Angel, in the story of The Slave World. You remember last time, Scott, Crystal, and Taurus blasted off in the Starduster for 2 small planets that orbit through our galaxy once every 30 years. They landed on the smaller planet and started exploring when a flying saucer appeared. The friendly pilot, Ito, took them underground to Sesam, the ruler of Utopia, who explained that Utopia was a slave to its planet, Spartania.
What power do the Spartanians have over your people?
Many centuries ago, the Spartanians declared war on us. Because we were a peace-loving people, we were not prepared to defend ourselves. They orbited megatomic ray stations around our planet. Observe the view screen. They can activate the ray stations at will, contaminating our atmosphere.
Of all the dirty tricks.
In all these years, why haven't you contacted us for help?
We tried on several occasions. We sent out our saucers. Let me show you. We had hoped to find a civilization more highly developed than our own, who could help us resolve our interplanetary dispute. But a horrible sight awaited us when we arrived at your Earth. We found you Earthlings engaged in primitive battles among yourselves. That was the First World War.
Oh, how terrible.
Many years passed before we again sent saucers to your world.
World War II.
Seems pretty ridiculous, doesn't it? But there were intervals of peace between these conflicts.
That may well be. We never attempted to contact you again. We have accepted our fate.
But that was a long time ago.
That's right. Wars have been outlawed in our solar system. In fact, the whole galaxy.
That's right, Season. We now have the Interplanetary Space Council to enforce peace. And I can assure you it has the power to do so.
No, my friend. We cannot risk it. Spartania could destroy us in a matter of hours.
The Spartans are here. What shall we do?
Prepare for tribute.
Tribute? What tribute?
Whenever they ask, we must pay tribute to the Spartanians. Let us go to the surface, and you may see for yourselves.
Is this the tribute you must pay? Your own people?
Yes, Scott.
How barbaric.
All must take their turns at serving the Spartanians.
I wouldn't submit to slavery. Why don't you fight them?
That would not be very utopian. This is the only way our race can survive. Remember, the Spartanians could suffocate our planet in a matter of hours if they chose to do so.
I think it's time we paid a visit to these Spartanians.
No, my friend, you must not go there. The Spartanians are not to be trifled with.
Well, now, we didn't intend to trifle with them.
Scott, the saucer's blasting off.
So are we, Chris. Just as soon as we can get back to the Starduster. We'll put a stop to this nonsense once and for all.
Can Scott, Crystal, and Taurus free the small planet of Utopia from slavery? Don't miss the next exciting episode of Space Angel. Blast off for another exciting adventure in outer space with Scott McCloud, Space Angel, in the story of The Slave World. Last time, Sesam, the ruler of Utopia, explained to Scott, Crystal, and Taurus how the neighboring planet Spartania orbited megatomic rays around the small planet. As they were talking, the Spartanians' spacecraft landed. Those Utopians chosen to serve as slaves file on board to be taken to Spartania. Scott, Chris, Taurus blasted off for the neighboring planet.
We're in free flight. This is going to be a short run.
Old Sesam was sure upset about our going to Spartania.
I guess he has good reason to be upset. The Spartanians must be terrible people. Can you imagine a slave state in the 21st century?
There it is, altering course for orbital approach. Guess I better radio in for landing instructions. Spartan Control, this is the Starduster from the United Planets Outer Galaxy, requesting permission to land.
I wonder if they'll let us.
Starduster, this is Spartan Control. Permission denied. You have no official business here.
On the contrary, this is an official visit. We represent the Interplanetary Space Council.
We do not recognize your Space Council. We are masters of our own affairs. Strongly suggest you turn back.
I wonder if they're as big as they sound.
Starduster to Spartan Control. We're landing. Notify your superiors.
Very well, Starduster. We'll give you a homing beam on Interstellar Channel. Stay on the beam. Your ship will be covered by disintegrating rays at all times.
Well, now, that's what I call a friendly invitation.
Stand by for vertical landing. Extend landing legs.
Landing legs extended.
So far, so good.
Crystal, you stay aboard. We'll keep our intercom open to the Starduster's frequency. If we get in trouble, you'll know it. And contact the Space Force for help.
Right, Scott.
Skipper, here comes a surface craft.
Let's go out and meet it.
No driver. Must be remote control.
Well, hop aboard, Taurus.
The invaders will please follow the blinker guides to the conference room.
Invaders? That must mean us, Skipper.
I suppose it does, Taurus. Let's go. Well, here we are.
What a place to throw a ball. These are the terrible Spartanians? I was expecting men.
They may be physically weak, but remember their strength and intelligence.
Well, intruders, state your business. What does your Space Council want of us?
We've come to invite you to join the Interplanetary Space Council. However, we must protest your practice of forced servitude.
We have no interest in your Space Council. By what right do you interfere with our affairs?
For the right of individual freedom and equality.
Spartania recognizes only the power of the superior mind.
If it's power you respect, the Space Council has plenty of that, too.
In other words, you intend to force us to give up our slaves?
The decision to use force is not up to me. But we certainly must report to the Space Council what we found here.
Fools, I can destroy you with a touch of my finger.
That's perhaps. But you'd have the whole galaxy to answer to.
Huh. Very well. We accept the challenge.
Oh, no! Mayday! Mayday! Starduster calling Space Control. Come in, please. Oh!
You will turn off the communicator and come with me, Earth
creature. Did the Space Control Center receive Crystal's message, or are Scott, Torres, and Crystal completely cut off from outside help? Don't miss the next exciting episode of Space Angel. Blast off for another exciting adventure in outer space with Scott McCloud, Space Angel, in the story of The Slave World. Last time, Scott, Crystal, and Torres landed on the planet Spartania. Leaving Crystal aboard the Starduster, Scott and Torres went to find the ruler. Scott protested the Spartanian practice of slavery against the planet Utopia. As they were about to leave, the ruler paralyzed Scott and Torres with a ray beam. Crystal, aboard the Starduster, sent an emergency call, but she was captured before the call was completed.
I suppose I have no choice, little man, since you have a weapon and I am defenseless.
Precisely. And it is my intention that you remain defenseless. Now let's join your friends.
Yes, Chief, I'm sure it was the Starduster. She said Mayday twice, then the emergency homing signal.
Send a squadron from Pluto to investigate.
Right, Chief.
I think that should be enough.
Skipper, I can't move.
I can't either, Torres. It was some kind of paralyzer ray.
Just temporarily, so that you will see the hopelessness of your situation. The full power would have made you permanently immobile.
We're not entirely without resources ourselves.
Is that so? Can you turn your heads yet? We have the other member of your crew. She was trying to communicate with her people, Excellence. I suspected as much. We Spartanians are not easily fooled.
Then what do you intend doing with us?
With proper discipline, you might become good slaves. Toth, take them to their quarters. Did you get a message through to the Space Force, lass?
I didn't have a chance, Taurus, but I switched on the emergency homing signal.
And there's probably a squadron on the way out here now.
Skipper, they won't know what to expect. They could fly right into a trap.
Exactly. The Spartanians can activate those ray stations and wipe them out, along with the planet Utopia.
Then we've got to get to a radio and warn them. But how?
Scott McCloud. Seize him.
What are you doing here? Never mind that. I've been thinking. You have been risking your lives to help free my people.
That's our job, Cecil.
I know. And I owe it to my people to help you if I can.
Do you have a service craft we can use?
Yes, I have. But how will you get out? I have no weapon.
I think we can manage it. How about it, Taurus?
Shouldn't be too difficult. Just stand back, Cecil.
What's he going to do? They took all our weapons.
Not all of them, Chris. We still have Taurus strength.
What tremendous strength.
Let's go.
You have a fix on the Starduster signal yet? Triangulation fixes the Starduster in the area of the twin planets. Base Force 1 to Squadron. Our destination seems to be in the area of the twin planets. Stay tight and keep your eyes open.
Stay out of sight till we get through the city.
We will.
Don't worry.
All clear.
So far, so good.
You know where our ship is, Cecil?
Yes, I know.
I will take you to it.
Scott, we'll never get off the ground. Your surface rays will blast us if we attempt to take off.
Not if we can knock out the ray stations before we blast off.
First, we've got to find them.
I know where all their installations are. Our people had to build them.
That's great, Cecil. If you'll point them out to us, we'll do the rest.
We are nearing your ship.
Set down where there's cover.
Your Excellence, the prisoners have escaped.
The fools. They can't get off this planet. Notify all stations to shoot them on sight.
What about their ship, Excellence?
Cross the disintegrator beams over their ship. If they try to take off,
their ship will become their tomb. What will happen when the Starduster blasts off into the disintegrator beams? Can Scott's plan possibly work? Don't miss the next exciting episode of Scott McCloud, Space Angel. Blast off for another exciting adventure in outer space with Scott McCloud, Space Angel, in the story of The Slave World. Last time, Scott, Taurus, and Crystal escaped from the Spartan dungeon and headed back toward the Starduster with Cecil. The Spartans, meanwhile, had crossed disintegrator rays over the ship, so that if they tried to get off, they would be destroyed.
You know where the ray stations are that would be covering our ship?
That strange-looking tower across the valley is one.
Its ray is invisible. You cannot tell with the eye whether it is on or not.
There's another one on the opposite side of the valley.
I see. They've really got us boxed in.
That's why they landed us in this valley.
This is as close as we dare get with a saucer.
You'd better take it from here on foot.
Thanks, Season. If we make it, we'll be back with our Space Force.
Thank you, my friends. I must get back now before I'm missed.
I've got a definite fix on the Starduster homing signal. It's coming in from the larger planet. Keep trying to reach them.
Aye, aye.
Ready, gang?
Aye, Skipper.
Right, Scott. Should I radio the Space Force?
No, Chris. If we started broadcasting, the Spartanians would know we're here and blast us before we could get a message off.
I can see the rays crossed over us on the infrared detector. I wonder why they haven't blasted our ship.
Either they don't know we've escaped yet, or they're just waiting for us to fly into the ray on liftoff.
We'll blast them on liftoff, right, Skipper?
Right. We don't want to give them time to put any other rays into action.
Sounds like awful close timing. I hope we make it.
Stand by for blastoff.
Hold her steady.
Now!
Good shooting, Taurus.
Starduster, this is Space Force One. Come in, please.
There they are.
Chris, switch me to the Space Force channel. Space Force One. This is Starduster. Over.
Skipper, I've got him. Starduster, this is Space Force One. What's the trouble?
Space Force One, this is Starduster. I have a target for you. There are 8 megatomic ray stations orbiting the small planet of Utopia. They must be knocked out. Use caution. They can be activated at any time. Try to hit them simultaneously. I'll keep them occupied down below.
Roger, Starduster. We'll be in your area in 2 space units.
Here they come.
Chris, stand by to launch the Space Star. I'm going below.
Space Force One to all ships. Arm your rockets. Split and attack. I'll take the one onto starboard. Roger, Captain. Boy, these things really go off with a bang. Just like the 4th of July. Like shooting fish in a barrel.
Your Excellence, spacecraft are destroying our ray stations. Blast them with the surface rays.
Skipper, the ray station got 2 of our ships.
I'll get it. Blast off.
Scott dives down into the Utopia atmosphere to blast the ray station.
Watch out for that surface ray.
I got it, Taurus.
Good work, Skipper. All orbiting ray stations knocked out. Any further orders?
Move in and secure. And thanks, Space Force.
I don't know how to thank you for securing the freedom of our people.
It's our privilege. Freedom is one thing that's always worth fighting for. Make sure you never lose it again.
We won't, Scott. The freedom that you and your brave friends have won for us will never be lost.
Speaking of freedom, how about a leave, Skipper?
Yes, I need time to get my hair done.
To a woman, there's nothing more important than her hair.
And so ends the adventure of the Slave World. Don't miss the next exciting story of Space Angel.